The Boise State Broncos are one of the more underrated programs in college football. They've been to and won 3 different Fiesta Bowls, including the 2006 game against Oklahoma, which is one of the greatest games of all time, with one of the greatest plays of all time in the Statue of Liberty.
Pass option going to the right.
Boise State for the win. They hand it off to Johnson. Boise State has won the Tostitos Fiesta Bowl.
However, they've still never reached the pinnacle of college football. The question is then, can I take them there? We'd start our journey by going to play at number 16 Arizona, which would turn out to be a huge test. The game started out with us easily driving down the field and scoring with our star running back Ashton Jeanty. However, Arizona would quickly answer on its next drive with a quick slant over the middle to equalize the score. We were able to answer with a field goal right before halftime, but this game was going to obviously be tough for us to win. To open up the second half, we'd quickly drive down the field to take a 10-point lead with an RPO bubble to our wide receiver. This touchdown and 10-point lead gave me false confidence to sim. So then naturally this happened.
Jets, nice job on the defense, understanding it, seeing it, rallying to it.
He's got it downfield for a huge gain. All kinds of room to the right. Touchdown Wildcats. And that one will put him up here in the second half. Back to throw, it's Nelson. They're bringing heat.
I threw a pick. I thought he was staying with the other guy. I gotta force a 3 now. After this debacle, I was able to force Arizona to a field goal, but had the damage already been done? We answered this question by scoring a touchdown on quite literally the final play of regulation, forcing our first game as Boise State head coach to go to overtime. We would start with the ball first in overtime and easily score with the handoff to Jeanty. On Arizona's possession, they would literally throw the game away with an awful pick in the end zone, finalizing our 1-0 start to the dynasty with a top 20 road win. Week 2 would hold an even greater test for us though, as we hosted the number 4 team in the country, the Oregon Ducks. We started the game with a quick stop against Oregon before driving down the field and scoring a touchdown on a quick drag route to our tight end, putting us up 7-0. However, our lead would almost instantly evaporate as Oregon scored a quick strike rushing touchdown, with our defense taking some of the worst pursuit angles known to man, allowing Oregon to equalize this game almost instantaneously. But we were able to answer back quickly with a rushing touchdown from Jeanty. On Oregon's next drive, Dylan Gabriel laid out an absolute bomb to tie the game up once again. Our corner got absolutely cooked, who knows what happened there. And although our defense has been getting torched this game, we still had the best player on the field at Jeanty, who scored another touchdown right before halftime. We started on offense coming out of the break, and did not disappoint, as Malachi Nelson dropped an absolute dime to the corner of the end zone to give us a 2-score lead. However, that wouldn't last long, as Oregon would walk down the field and cash in another touchdown with a Wildcat run. Oregon would also easily convert on its unnecessary 2-point conversion. On our next drive, we were able to chew some clock, but ultimately shanked a field goal, which would have sealed the game for us. Oregon's last gasp ended up being a 4th and 17 from its own 14-yard line, which came up empty, allowing us to secure another ranked win, this time over a top 5 team. The next game of note would be a home game against Tennessee, which started off with a bang as its young quarterback Iamaleava heaved a ball downfield, which was easily picked off. On our first drive, we were able just to cash in a field goal. And then Tennessee's second drive went the exact same way the first one did, with Iamaleava throwing another pick. We were able to easily convert that turnover into a touchdown on the ground with Jeanty. He also scored another rushing touchdown on our next drive, making the score 17-0. After this, I felt like we were riding high and well on our way to victory. Until this happened. I had to open my fucking mouth. Had to open my mouth. It became an even closer game as Tennessee scored right before the half on a dot to the corner of the end zone off a play action by Iamaleava. After a couple of empty drives by both teams, Tennessee would break the ice in the second half with an easy rushing touchdown. Our next drive would also end in a disaster, as James Pierce Jr. flew around the edge to get a strip sack on Nelson and firmly give UT the momentum. We'd ultimately force Tennessee to a field goal, but it may be too little too late, as UT got the ball back and scored yet another touchdown. effectively icing this game with only a couple minutes left to play. I wasn't going down without a fight though, and scored a touchdown with a little less than 50 seconds remaining, but it may have been too little too late. After that score, I was questioning my decision not to onside kick, until this happened.
Play styling deal breaker? What does that mean?
Oh! Get it! Yes! Oh my god! After recovering the fumble, we easily punched in the game-tying touchdown with Genty. Unfortunately though, when the game was supposed to have gone to overtime, the game bugged, forcing me to close the app and lose my progress, effectively nullifying the game. However, on the bright side, once I loaded back in and simmed the game, we actually won by a score of 33-30, making the comeback we had well worth it in the end. Our next test would turn out to be the following game, as we go on to road to play Hawaii, which would end up being a much tougher game than I originally expected. Things started well though, as we began the game with a quick field goal to take the lead. Rainbow Warriors, however, would then equalize the score with the field goal of their own. On our next drive, we made it to the red zone where threatening to score a touchdown, but then I threw one of the dumbest picks of my life at the goal line, resulting in a 100-yard pick six to give Hawaii the lead. And the pain wouldn't stop there, as Hawaii would get the ball back and easily score another touchdown on a screen to give themselves a 17-3 lead. Thankfully though, we were able to answer with a rushing touchdown of our own by Genty right before the first half ended. However, that brief spell of hope would be crushed, as Hawaii cashed in on a field goal with its first drive of the second half. And to make matters worse, they would get the ball back and score another touchdown to go up 27-10, effectively putting us on major upset alert. On our next drive, we were able to quickly answer with another rushing touchdown by Genty, which gave us a small opportunity to make a comeback like the Tennessee game. But that glint of hope went away fast, as the Rainbow Warriors got a 75-yard gain on the first play of their next drive to nearly put the game on ice. We were fortunate enough to force Hawaii to take a field goal, but the writing was on the wall. This game was over. And it was, as we couldn't score on our next drive, sealing a 30-17 loss that severely damaged our playoff hopes. We would string together a couple of nice wins against UNLV and San Diego State before facing our next major threat, our rivals in Nevada. The game started off well for us, as we punched in a quick touchdown on the ground with Genty. And, even better, on Nevada's first play from scrimmage, we were able to pick them off to keep us in the red zone. We weren't able to capitalize on the turnover with the touchdown, but we did get a field goal to give ourselves a 2-score lead. However, the Wolfpack did quickly answer with its own touchdown to start the second quarter. But that didn't matter, as we scored a huge 63-yard rushing touchdown with Genty on our ensuing possession. And, after getting the ball back, we cashed in another field goal to give ourselves a 20-7 lead. Nevada answered quickly though, scoring an easy touchdown on an RPO bubble to bring themselves back into the game. Later on in the fourth quarter, disaster struck, as Nevada scored another touchdown to complete its comeback and take a 21-20 lead. And to make things worse, I threw a dumbass pick on our next drive, almost losing us the game. We were fortunately able to force Nevada to take a field goal, but we needed a touchdown, and quickly, if we wanted to win this game. And our prayers were answered, as Nevada inexplicably went press coverage on our next drive, leaving Straken open for an absolute nuke down the sideline to regain the lead. However, that lead was gone as soon as it came, thanks to awful tackling and pursuit angles that allowed the Wolfpack to easily score with little time remaining. But, with almost no time left, Malachi Nelson showed off his balls of steel, finding Genty over the middle for a potential game-winning score. Nevada then had one final play to win, and this is what they cooked up.
He's got it down the right side. Touchdown, Nevada. They've got the lead here in the fourth. A clutch throw and catch from the quarterback and the receiver in the end zone for the touchdown.
Man, I tell you what, you want to get pressure on the quarterback, but these situations, you drop so many guys back deep. But as a defender, you're not trying to catch the ball. You're trying to spike that thing as hard as you can into the ground. The defense has to do a better job, but the offense makes the big play, gets the huge Hail Mary.
Following that disaster, we handled Wyoming and Oregon State pretty well before getting exactly what I wanted.
Win and get in, pretty much.
Ironically though, the rematch against Nevada was anticlimactic, as we absolutely dominated them. After winning the Mountain West Conference Championship game and discovering that we had the best defensive end and running back in the country, we found out our path to the championship, which would begin with a major road test at Utah. The game would start in our favor though, as we took a quick 6-0 lead thanks to a couple of field goals in the first quarter and a half. Later on in the second quarter, we would punch in a quick rushing touchdown with our third string running back, as Genty was still injured. Utah and Cam Rising would answer very quickly though, scoring a touchdown on an out route with less than 10 seconds remaining in the first half. And even though Utah scored, we were absolutely gifted with a kick return touchdown to end the first half up 20-7, playing with house money. Utah got the ball first in the second half and immediately capitalized on the opportunity by scoring an easy rushing touchdown.
I'm trying to learn the recruiting thing. I kind of just offered a bunch of people in the recommended tab.
After missing that crucial field goal, Utah would capitalize on our mistake by scoring an extremely easy rushing touchdown from 75 yards out. After coming up empty on our next drive, we forced Utah into taking a field goal, but now we had to score a touchdown. And we would, finishing off a 2-minute drill by scoring a rushing touchdown with our 4th string running back of all people. Cam Rising unfortunately did his best Patrick Mahomes impression by getting the Utes into field goal range to send the game to overtime. We would start with the ball first in overtime, scoring a quick and easy rushing touchdown with Dubar. But Utah's possession ended in misery, with Cam Rising throwing a game-losing pick to allow us to move on to the next round against the naysayers of Alabama. The game started off about as poorly as possible, with Jalen Milroe ridiculously breaking a sack while my DBs just watched Milroe run past them for a touchdown. Our first drive didn't go any better, as Genty fumbled the ball right back to Alabama outside the red zone, killing our first drive. Thankfully though, the fumble didn't cost us, as we were able to force a stop and get on the board with a field goal of our own. Unfortunately, a scoring meant Bama got the ball back, so naturally, they drove down the field in 30 seconds and scored with a strike down the middle by Milroe. But right after we got the ball back, Alabama had a coverage bust in its secondary, allowing us to answer right back with a bomb down the sideline to Straken.
They only scored 14 on you, you're fine.
After that massive touchdown, Alabama drove right down the field to tie the game up with the field goal.
Violent, man. Jesus Christ.
So lower
No,
your
I just
tone
thought
of
it'd
voice
be
if you're
funny.
talking to a little girl.
What'd you say?
I said you better fucking lower your tone of voice when you're talking to a little girl.
Let's go!
Well, you had the guy on the right.
Coverage.
And after that huge gain down the sideline, we were able to punch in an easy touchdown on the ground. But right after getting the ball back, Milroe threw another laser down the middle, and our DBs couldn't catch up, allowing Alabama to equalize the score. After that touchdown, I knew I couldn't let Alabama get the ball back, so I chewed the rest of the clock and won the game with a chip shot walk-off field goal. Our next game against Liberty was extremely winnable, until this happened.
It just means he's got a normal
I've seen-
depth trade up.
It means his depth development stage is good.
No, I actually simmed.
Hey, Hunter.
Oh my god, you should see Will's reaction on
Oh
cam.
my god.
But I'm sorry, Will. I'm sorry.
Hey, Will or Hunter, how do you take back all the hours that you put into somebody if they're not coming to you?
Hold Y,
Just remove
over
the
them.
wide remove.
and it'll be like a red lock on them.
Did you lose?
Dude, he just
Yeah.
lost. Oh my god. Will simmed against fucking Liberty. No fucking way,
Liberty?
dude.
That sucked. But we had to come back with a vengeance and win the championship. And next season, our regular season went well, as we ran through teams like Notre Dame, San Jose State, San Diego State, Colorado State, and Hawaii in the conference championship game. This set us up for a first-round bye in the playoff and a huge matchup in the Cotton Bowl against the Michigan Wolverines. The Michigan game started out really well, as Alex Orji threw a stupid pick to give us a quick 7-0 lead. However, that wouldn't last long, as the Wolverines scored right back on a bubble screen from 51 yards out. And the pain didn't stop there, as I made a completely ill-advised pitch that was fumbled and recovered by Michigan, which set them up for a huge touchdown thrown down by Orji over the middle of the field. We weren't out of the game yet, as we scored a massive touchdown with Dubar on the ground to tie the game. We also followed up that touchdown with a field goal to take a quick 17-14 lead. Michigan wasn't going to lay down yet though, as it drove down the field and scored on a quick out route on the goal line to take a 21-17 lead. We answered Michigan's answer by retaking the lead with an absolute bomb down the sideline to go up 24-21. And after getting a stop, we marched down the field and scored on a stretch run filled with pancake blocks to take control of the game. On Michigan's next possession, Orji threw an awful pick that we took back to the house to seal our win and a spot in the Final Four teams of the college football playoff. Our next game was against Clemson in the Peach Bowl, which started out horribly, as I fumbled and recovered it in the end zone, giving the Tigers a 2-point lead with the safety. To make matters worse, Clemson scored an easy touchdown after the punt, giving themselves a quick 2-score lead over us. We would answer quickly though, with Dubar juking out the entire Clemson defense to score a 61-yard rushing touchdown. And the fun didn't stop there, as our wide receiver Straken scored a 41-yard touchdown on a pop pass by Nelson to take a 14-9 lead. Clemson's next drive also ended in failure, as Cade Klubnik threw another interception. On our next drive, Dubar ran a 25-yard touchdown run on a counter play out of the pistol, putting us in firm control of the game. On Clemson's next drive, Klubnik threw another bad pick, which is capped off by an easy touchdown with our backup running back to seal the game. Or so I thought.
Time to sim just a bit. Okay. Alright. Okay.
We were able to chew the clock out, but that was a little too close for comfort. Now we move on to the championship. The national championship game against Georgia was looking like a disaster in the beginning, as the Dogs stopped us on our first drive and scored with a strike down the middle of the field to take a 7-0 lead. On its next drive, Georgia would capitalize on my aggressive blitz call by running a bubble to the outside, which resulted in a 62-yard touchdown to put us in an early 14-0 hole. Our next drive was a do-or-die scenario, so I went forward on 4th and 6 and converted it before scoring shortly after with a crossing route over the middle of the field by Straken to put us back in the game. We would also get a huge stop and punch in an easy rushing touchdown right before the end of the first half to tie the game up. Georgia would open up the second half by throwing an awful pick over the middle of the field, setting us up in scoring position, which we would capitalize on with an easy rushing touchdown to give ourselves a 21-14 lead. The comeback was complete. Georgia would then try to come back on its own, but we blocked a 46-yard field goal, and then they missed their next one from 55 yards out, outright choking their original lead. We would end the game by scoring a field goal with little time on the clock to finalize a 24-14 win in the national championship game. That dynasty was a ton of fun to play, and I hope you guys enjoyed watching it. There will be more videos like this soon, so until then, like and subscribe, and have a good one.